All right, so in 11.5, we talked about circumference. Circumference is the perimeter of the circle, and so that's when you have C equals pi times diameter. You want to get the circumference. In these notes today, 11.6 is all on area. So area is the surface, everything that's within here. Okay, so everything in the circle. I don't care about the distance around the circle, so what I have in red, I don't care about that. I want to know what's on the inside. And so when you're looking for the area of the entire circle, you have area equals 2 pi, area equals pi r squared. All right. And an area, when we're talking about the area, our final answer, if we have inches, that'll be inches squared. Centimeters squared. Meters squared. Your answer will always have the squared up top here. Okay, now the next one is called the sector of a circle. And so the sector of a circle is taking a part of the circle and only looking at that area, finding this area here. That's all I want, is just this little part. So just part of the circle. And so this one here, we have A, which is area. And then we have N, which is the same as from the arc length. N is the degree. And R is the radius. Okay, so everything's the same except for we have this N over 360 because we're going to be looking at only this area here that's shaded. Okay, just the little part, not the whole circle. Okay, so keep those formulas in mind. So we have a couple examples on the back side here. These notes are going to go by very quickly. So it says find the exact means no decimals, the exact area of a circle with a diameter of 28 inches. So the diameter, D equals 28. We know that the formula for area is A equals pi r squared. And when we're doing this here, we want exact. So we have our diameter is 28, so our radius is 14. Right, so we'll divide that by 2 to get the radius. And so I'm going to plug everything in. So we have A equals pi r squared. And r squared here, the r squared is going to be 14. So A equals pi times 14 squared. So you're squaring that 14. So then here we have A equals 14 squared is 196 times pi. So the area is 196 pi inches squared. Right. The next one says find the length. Find the length of the radii. So we're looking for that radius. We're given the area is 53.27 centimeters squared. Remember that squared. Round your answer to 2 decimals. So here we don't have to be exact. Approximate is where we're going. So we know our A equals 53.27. And so since we're talking about the area of the entire circle, we're going to use A equals pi r squared. So in this case, we have 53.27 equals pi r squared. Here we'll divide by pi. And when you do 53.27 divided by pi, you will get 16.956 equals r squared. And now we need to get that final answer, so we'll square root both sides. And when you take the square root of 16.965, you will get here r to equal 4.117. And now we want to round to 2 decimal places. That was supposed to be an arrow. 2 decimal places. So we have r equals 4.12 centimeters. And so when we're going from area to centimeters, area is always squared. When you're going from area to the length. area is always squared. Your lengths are just normal, okay? So just always just put the unit. You don't need the squared. All right, the next one is talking about the sector. So I'm actually going to draw a picture of this one just to visualize it, and you can draw pictures of all of them. So here we have an angle. This is 75 degrees, and I'm only looking for this shaded area. Okay, that's what the sector is saying, the shaded area, that little part. Okay, the radius is 24. All right, I'll zoom in a little bit. So since we're talking about the sector, the formula we're going to be using is A equals N divided by 360 times pi r squared. And so we're going to kind of look at the information we're given. And so we know that our N is the degree, so that is 75 degrees. We have the R is equal to 24 degrees, and then the only other variable is A, and that is the variable we are looking for. So go ahead, plug everything in. We have A equals 75 all over 360 times pi times 24 squared. Okay, so that 24 is squared. And now you'll enter this into your calculator. One way you could do it is enter this fraction in and then multiply it by everything here. And so when you do that, A will be approximately, so when we go ahead and do 75 divided by 360 times 24 squared times pi, you will get here 376.99, and looking at our units, inches squared. All right. The next one, it says find the area of the shaded regions. So we have to determine if it's the normal area of the circle or if it's of the sector. So in this one here, the whole shaded region is the entire circle. The entire circle. So since it's the entire circle, we will have A equals pi r squared. We have r equals 7, and we don't know what A equals. So we'll have A equals pi times 7 squared. So that here is A equals 49 times pi. And the approximate solution will be A is approximately, when we multiply, 147.65 feet squared. All right. This next one here is wanting the area of this little shaded region. And so since this here is not the entire circle, we will be using the formula for a sector. So that we have A equals N all over 360 times pi r squared. The N equals 60, R equals 6, A equals, we don't know. So we have A equals 60 divided by 360 times pi times 6 squared. So when we enter that entire expression into our calculator, you will get 18.85, and our unit is yards, and this is area, so we square it. Okay, this last one here is a couple parts. So not only do we have two circles, they're not shaded, so we don't want the shaded of the circles. We only want the shaded here of this rectangle. So this rectangle is all we want the area of. However, we have this here, which I'll circle in red. All of this in here, they don't want any of it. We have to get rid of that part of the circle. So how to do this is we have to do three parts. First, we need to find the area of the rectangle. Okay, so the area of the rectangle is length times width. So we have area equals 30 times 60. Okay, and those are meters. So then our area for a rectangle is 18,000 meters. Okay, Next, we're going to find, second step here, is the area of the little circle. So the area of the little circle is A equals pi r squared. So here we have A equals pi times 8 squared. Area will be approximately 201.06 meters squared. Oops, I forgot my squared up there. All right, our third step here. Our third step is this next circle. So over here we have A equals pi r squared. We have A equals pi times 10 squared. So then when we enter that into the calculator, you will get approximately 314.16 meters squared. And so remember, our goal is to find the area of the shaded region. So to do that, we need to subtract what we have found for the area of those circles. We don't want the area of that. We don't want that surface area of there. So here we have 18,000 minus 201.06 minus 314.16. And when we go ahead and enter 18,000 minus 201.06 minus 314.16, okay, so you're subtracting both of those circles, we will get here the area of that shaded region is 1,284.78 meters squared. Okay, so yes, this question has multiple parts, but you find the area of each individual shape and then subtract the shapes that you don't want the area of. All right, and that is it for this lesson, nice and short. The homework is attached, so go ahead and get started. Remember, if you have questions, you can go back to rewatch the video, ask your peers, or go to the math lab.